Once you've got your liability proof, now sequencing your damages, I think it's best to, there's a thing called the Guernica Effect, which is that we have a tendency to believe and cling to tenaciously that which we discover on our own. So I don't come in at the beginning of a case and on voir dire examination or on opening statement and lay out what an extremely devastating, tragic case this is. I want them to discover this on their own. I want it to be their idea. So I don't talk in opening about this being a permanent irreversible brain damage that will plague this poor plaintiff forever. No. You talk about a head injury. You start out talking about a head injury. And then you move on into a little stronger language. And after your neuropsychologist or your psychologist or your surgeon, after they testify that this is irreversible, permanent brain damage, it's going to be this way, there's nothing we can ever do, let them hear it from the doctor. Let them discover on their own. You want their thought process to be, oh, this is a head injury case. Oh, this is a serious head injury case. Wow, this is a very serious. Wow, this is a devastating case. Gee, this is a horrible tragedy. So that's all part of sequencing. Sequencing is pretty crucial. The next thing is just communication skills. Every case, we always look at the language of the case. We have a separate section in our trial notebook called language of the case. And what we have in that case, what we have in that list are the particular words and phrases, terms of art, terms of science, that apply to this case, that A, are peculiar to this case, and we're going to have to think of the best way to convey those words to the jury, to make the jury understand those words, or that have a normal meaning, but they have a different meaning in this case, or they have a normal meaning that has several different interpretations possible, and we have a particular interpretation we want to make sure that they understand. So we always think in terms of the language of the case, and then we try to capture in that language of the case, we try to put our catchphrases. And the catchphrases are you take those difficult words. I'll tell you a real quick example. I tried a case a long time. I find myself saying this a lot. I tried a case a long time ago where a lady went into a Walmart, and she reached down on those, you see those tiered candy stacks, and they have just cellophane and candy everywhere, okay, everywhere they can put one. Well, she reaches down on the bottom shelf to pick up a bag of candy, and as she does, she impales, you know those sticks that stick out that have the extra bags on them? She impales her eyeball on one of those, and as she stands up, her eyeball pops out. And she's blind. Yeah, me too, I thought that. So I'm trying to think, okay, they're called shelf extenders. Okay, now the term shelf extender doesn't execute the required level of emotion as recommended by Aristotle. So I'm trying to think, what would be the right thing to call that? So I'm taking the guy's deposition who loads those shelf extenders up for a living. And I said, by the way, what do you call those at the company? He said, oh, we call those profit pegs. Is that the perfect catchphrase? Because back then my theme was profit over safety. That was the theme of the case. This is a case about profit over safety. So they called them profit pegs. So that's the kind of catchphrase. That's the kind of catchphrase you're looking for. Then finally, you bring it all back around. One last mention on your demonstrative evidence. Your demonstrative evidence, you start with what you have. And I will tell you that photographs quite often are the most powerful we have all, I mean, hell, I'm guilty of it. I'm as guilty as anybody of animations. I spend a fortune on all that stuff. But a lot of times, some of the best evidence I have ever put in have been a simple family photograph. So start with what you have. Then you look at what can I do to improve that? What can I do to make it more presentable? Blow it up, put it on a stand, whatever. X-ray, turn it into a positive, whatever. How can I improve it? The next thing you look at is you put all those up there, and what am I missing? Are there any blanks? Now, what do I have to create? What do I have to create in order to tell the entire visual story? Because you're telling a visual, verbal, and nonverbal story. So think about that, and it all comes back to, full circle back to, is what I'm putting together here, is that getting the answers I want over here to that verdict form? That's what it's all about, is coming from, that's why all lawsuits begin with law and hopefully end with deposit slips. So I hope I said something that will help you help your clients. Thank you very much.